हेलो लर्नर्स, वेलकम बैक टू माय चैनल। आई होप समस्ते बहुत ही भलरे थिबे। सो जेमती कि आपण मान जानचंती आज ओएसटी एग्जाम थिला एंड जति की भी रिव्यू मते मिले छी एबे जाए समस्त को एग्जाम बहुत ही भल रही छी एंड चलन तो डिस्कस करबा आज आंसर की जस्ट क्वेश्चन एंड द करेक्ट आंसर एंड नेक्स्ट मु गोटे वीडियो बनेबी जोटारे आई विल डिस्कस ब्रीफली ओके कि आपणकर फॉर एग्जांपल एक क्वेश्चन रो आंसर टा एटा काहे की हैला एंड बाकी काहे की हैला नहीं लाइक दैट मच ब्रीफली आई विल डिस्कस इन नेक्स्ट वीडियो। सो ए वीडियो रे हमें खाली ओनली क्वेश्चन एंड तारो करेक्ट आंसर को आमे जानिबा ताकि आपण मन निजर मार्क काउंट करि परिबे। ओके सो जे माने आपणको एससी एसटी एससीबीसी पिला अछंती तांकर आपणको पासिंग मार्क होची 53 एंड जे माने आपणको जनरल तांकर होची 68 जनरल मानको 68 एंड बाकी जति की रहिले तांकर आपणको 53। ओके सो देखंतु आपण मो सहित वीडियो रे मैच करांतु निजर करेक्ट आंसर। ओके देखंतु फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन देखंतु सारल दास ओडिसा रो वाल्मीकि थिले रेखांकित अंशटी क्यों पद ठीक अच्छे से कही रेखांकित अंशटी क्यों पद सो एटार आंसर हम विशेष्य। ओके तुषार धवल यह क्यों प्रकार समास निष्पन्न पद उपमान कर्म धाराए। ओके तापर देखो रामचंद्र रावण को मारी सीता को उद्धार करले यह कौन प्रकार वाक्य ना एटा गोटे सरल वाक्य। अरण्य शब्दटी क्यों तद्धित प्रत्यय द्वारा गठित अप्रत्यय। गोड़ तले न लागिबा रूढ़ीटी रो अर्थ कौन पिला माने अत्यंत आनंद अवस्था। स्वत्वविधि आधारे गठित शब्दटी चिन्ह आनुषंगिक शुद्ध शब्दटी को बाच सर्वांगीन। ओके कली उपद्रवे त्यजी लोकालय शांति की ए स्थले भजिले आश्रय एथिरे क्यों अलंकार रही उत्प्रेक्षा। जति पड़िबा रूढ़ीर अर्थ कौन ना मेल खाइबा से बयस रे मो ठारू बड़ रेखांकित पदटी क्यों विभक्ति तृतीया। ओके अकृत प्रत्यय द्वारा गठित शब्द टिकु चिन्ह क्रोध। आगु देखिबा विशाल अखी जहार से विशालाक्ष शुद्ध वाक्यटी चिन्ह तो शुद्ध वाक्य कौन हम ना आरत्य मिनती दुहे जाड़ा भौणी। मधु तार मामू घर को जाई अछि एटा होछ आपनको सर्वनाम ठीक अछि। आसन सकाशे वृद्धे एड़े बाई बालके जेसने क्रीडक पाई एथिरे क्यों अलंकार रही उपमा। आपण गोटे पैसेज दिया आइतला 16 to 20 सो तार करेक्ट आंसर देखिबा एबे। फर्स्ट देखो कोन दीची 16 रे एकलव्यर दुस्साहस पाई शास्ति को कोन बोली विचार करा हेची साहित्यिक न्याय। गुरु द्रोण सेदिन एकलव्य काहे की खुसरे कोडाय धरले नाही ना असल गुरु हृदय नथिबारु। व्यासदेवंकर कौन चिन्हिबा लागि साहस नथिला बोली कुहा जाईची मानविक श्रेयर विपुलता। प्रत्याख्यात एकलव्य एठारे प्रत्याख्यातर अर्थ कौन ना अवर्ण। जड़े विद्यार्थी कहा बल परंपरागत समस्त नियंत्रण को लंघी जाई पारे निजर श्रद्धा और विश्वास। देन सेक्शन 2A इंग्लिश कंपल्सरी फॉर ऑल स्ट्रीम्स आपन गोटे पोएम दिया है 21 to 25 जाए अच्छी। सो तारो देखिबा हमें which of the following words means not easy कौन हबो सोर। What is considered the sweetest song in the violent storm by the poet Hope. Cute creation of the creator is bright and beautiful. The word opposite in meaning of creation is annihilation. Okay. What according to the poet does Hope do without words? Sings the tune. It in the last line of the poem refers to the hope. Hope in the poem is compared to a bird. Which pair is differently pronounced? Option number C. India scored 175 runs dash 6 weeks for 6 weeks. Okay. There are black clouds in the sky. It dash rain. It is going to rain. He said, I have an answer to the Question: which is the correct indirect speech of the above sentence? He said that he had an answer to the question. Which letter is silent in the word handsome? That is D. Okay. Try to save money for your future. Replace the underlined word with an idiomatic phrase. Na put by. If I came into fortune, I dash give up working. I would give up working. Then आपनको गोटे पैसेज दिया है 34 ରୁ 38 आपण करिवे. Okay, so देखिबा 34. What was the author's view on the course for cruelty, tyranny and injustice? कौन हबो? A. They would gradually diminish. What was the belief of people during the Victorian age? Option number D. Peace would prevail and happiness would engulf the whole world. 36. The expression a brief indulge between past and future barbarism in the last sentence of the passage means a short period of time between past and future acts of cruelty. 37. The author felt sad about the later part of life because the world was painfully disturbed during that period of time. The word definite used in the passage means final. It is 2 years. Dash I saw Vivek. Since the paper setter made the questions difficult. Correct na pila mane? कौन लागुची ओएसटी एग्जाम रे क्वेश्चन केमती आछि कमेंट सेक्शन में जणाइबे कि आपन को ओटीटी एग्जाम क्वेश्चन इजी लागिला ना ओएसटी रो इजी लागिला माने कंपैरेटिवली कोड आपन को लागुची कि इजी आसी थिला बे कमेंट सेक्शन जणाइबे ओके एंड ओके सो आर आंसर कोन हबो पैसिव करले ऑप्शन नंबर सी द क्वेश्चन वेर मेड डिफिकल्ट बाय द पेपर सेटर 41 देखो संपद काले सर्वे सखा रेखांकित पदटीर विभक्ति निर्णय कर कौन हम पिला माने सप्तमी विभक्ति ओके प्रतिदिन खरा टाण हेउची रेखांकित पदटी क्यों समास न वैभव ओके एपटे देखो हाथीटी झुली झुली चलुची केमते चलुची ना झुली झुली चलुची एटा कोन हे जबो ना क्रिया विशेषण गति शब्द रे क्यों कृत प्रत्यय जोग होईची ई ओके देन एटी देखो निम्नोक्त पदटी रे क्यों अलंकार प्रयुक्त भैरव आरबे रेबा देई लंप जन माए जन मानसे प्रकंप एटा हबो अनुप्रास कहिबार इच्छा एहा को एक पद रे प्रकाश कले कोन हबो विवक्षा अलियारु गजा रूढ़ीर अर्थ कोन ना जन्मरु चतुर केही रही नाही रहिबे नाही टी भव रंग भूमि तले सर्वे निज निज अभिनय सारी बाहुड़े काल बेले यही कविता क्यों छंद रचित है बंगला श्री बिकज 20 अच्छी लाइक प्रत्येक पादरे 20 अच्छी ओके तद्धित प्रत्यय द्वारा गठित शब्द को चिन्ह कौन पिला माने ऑप्शन नंबर डी पढ़ुआ तुमे जदि नंदनकानन जीव तेबे सिंह सफारी देखिबो यह कि प्रकार पद पिला माने वाक्य अपन जटिल वाक्य ओके देन अपन अगेन गोटे अनुच्छेद दिया है 51 रो अपन को कहि आंसर करते सो किए पानी फोटक परी पवन रे उठे और पवन रे मिलाई जाए बोली कुहाइची ना दुख ओके निम्नोक्त केउटी गोपीनाथ महांती को रचना नुहे दाढ़ी दादी बुढ़ा ओके शुद्ध शब्दटी को बाछ कौन हम ना व्यवहारिक पवन शब्दटीर संधि विच्छेद कले कौन हम पो प्लस अन खार बेले मगध जय करथिले आपनकर को कारक कर्म कारक देन आसला रीड द पोएम एंड आंसर द क्वेश्चन चूजिंग द मोस्ट एप्रोप्रिएट ऑप्शंस लाइक आपनको पोएम देछि एंड आपनको कहे छी एठु देखि कि आपण करेक्ट आंसर चूज करंतु हर मीन इज हम्बल हियर मीन मीन्स कोन ना अपीयरेंस बर्ड्स आर साइलेंट बिकॉज इट इज द डैश टाइम नाइट टाइम ओके तापर देखो whom does the poet compare the moon with queen language acquisition requires test both exposure and practice a test of listening comprehension is a test of receptive skill तापर आपन को अगेन गोटे पैसेज देछि देन 61 रो स्टार्ट करबा Gulliver could see but could not rise from the ground because option number B he was tied to the ground Gulliver reached the shore dash by swimming. Gulliver lay there bewildered. The word bewildered here means confused. Rice and dal dash my favorite food. It आपको grammar section start ହେଇଗଲା. Rice and dal dash my favorite. कौन हबो is my favorite. Okay. 65. My son bought the bus tickets yesterday. The correct passive form of the above sentence is option number D. The bus tickets were bought by my son yesterday. Find out the pair differently pronounced. Option number B. Rain. Okay. Option number B. Rain. Then ଆପଣଙ୍କର ଆସିଥିଲା 67. English is an important international language because it is a link language of the world. Called link language. I span is a subskill of reading. Okay. The good deals dash Ula notes in Ula notes. Tell me what you think about it. So underline part को अपन कौन कहा जाए noun clause कहा जाए. तापरे arts group history and political science optional रे 71 देखो. Which administrative change followed the British acquisition of Diwani rights in Bengal 1765? Option number B is the correct answer. Company gained rights to collect revenue and administer civil justice. 72. Which factor was most critical in linking diverse Indian groups into a shared national consciousness after 1857? Spread of Western education and print media. Which constitutional amendment gave constitutional status to Panchayati Raj institutions? 73rd Amendment Act. What does the term single citizenship in the Indian Constitution signify? कौन हबो ना all citizens enjoy national citizenship only. Okay. Which of the following is a function of the state legislative assembly? Approving state budget proposals. तापरे देखो. Which directive principles of state policy DPSP guides the state to promote equitable distribution of resources, minimizing income inequalities? Who presides over the joint session of parliament when both houses meet together? Speaker of Lok Sabha. तापरे देखो. Firoz Shah Tughlaq's administrative reforms differed from those of Alauddin Khilji's because Firoz, कौन होगा option number C, emphasized welfare measures and public works. Shah Jahan's architectural style is best distinguished by option number D, refined symmetry and extensive white marble work. The cabinet mission plan failed mainly because of disagreement over the grouping of provinces. Which structural factor most contributed to the outbreak of the First World War? Alliance system creating rigid blocks of military commitments. Okay. Pressure groups influence government policies mainly through using collective public pressure. Which of the following reflects India's commitment to global cooperation? Participation in UN peacekeeping. 84. Which architectural development best illustrate the Gupta period shift towards a classical Indian temple style? Emergence of square sanctum with modest sikhara. Aryabhata's contribution to mathematics and astronomy is best demonstrated by his calculation of pi and pi like pi and explanation of Earth's rotation. Then apanko section 3 re arts group geography and economics optional. Which of the following term is used for shifting cultivation in India? Penda. Okay. Which map is generally used to study population density? Thematic map. Okay. Which of the following is correctly matched? Glacier of Sark. Which layer of the atmosphere is responsible for the formation of aurora borealis? Apanko ionosphere. What is mainly used in India's poverty line estimation? Consumption data. Which of the following is the cause of cost push inflation? Wage rise. Which is not the reason of population explosion in India during 1951 to 81. High food security. 93. Which of the following types of monsoon account for most of the rainfall along the Konkan coast? Option number C, south west monsoon. Select the odd pair so far as highest production of mineral is concerned. Jharkhand lignite. Okay. Which factor is responsible for increase in density with depth in the earth's interior? High pressure. Okay. Which of the following regions of India has the highest potential of groundwater development? Northern plain. Okay. 95. Which of the following scholars developed the PQLI, Physical Quality of Life Index? Maurice D. Morris. Repo rate is decided by which of the following agencies? Reserve Bank of India. Which of the following physiographic divisions of India is one of the most stable land blocks? The peninsular plateaus. Which one of the following rivers is the longest? Krishna. Okay. That's CDP. Compulsory for all streams. 101. Scaffolding is learning refers to. Option number D is the correct answer. Providing temporary support that is gradually withdrawn. The principle of validity in test construction ensures that the test measures what it intends to measure. Okay. Private speech in Vygotsky's theory refers to talking oneself to guide thinking and behavior. A blueprint is developed in order to determining scoring procedures. A school that allows teachers to form committees to manage extracurricular programs while the principal focuses on administrative policies demonstrates decentralized management. The SCERT is primarily responsible for, option number B is the correct answer, implementing teacher training program and curriculum development at the state level. Then apanako 107. Which type of intelligence is not considered under Gardner's multiple intelligence theory? Correct answer is emotional. Okay. Negative transfer of learning means obstruction in learning. According to cognitive development theory of Jean Piaget, at which stage a child develops logical thinking of tangible objects? Concrete operational state. The book Scientific Structures, published in 1957, is authored by Noam Chomsky. आगुको आसले 109. Which is the key characteristic of portfolio assessment? Option number D is the correct answer. It occurs over a longer period to re-demonstrate understanding of students' achievement. A system where 90 to 100% is always an A grade, regardless the class performance, is absolute grading. Okay. Then आगुको छिया पिला माने 113. What method did Kohlberg primarily use to assess moral reasoning? It's the correct answer is interview. Which of the following is not a stage of moral development in Kohlberg's theory? Is self-actualization, because self-actualization meant to Maslow korthila. 115. Which assessment tool provides a systematic collection of students' work over time? Portfolio. Rubrics typically consist level of performance with clear descriptions. 119. Students are asked to set goals, track progress, and evaluate the strategies that best represent assessment as learning. Okay. Teacher-made tests are generally characterized by flexibility and alignment with classroom objectives. Okay. According to Erickson, the basic strength developed during the stage of industry versus inferiority is competence. Which of the following best represents stage 6 reasoning in Lawrence Kohlberg's moral development theory? I act according to my internal justice principles. Okay. 117 पिलाମାନେ critical pedagogy हम पढ़िଛୁ. Critical pedagogy was propounded by Paul Ferry. 118. Which of the following is true about the good TLMs? They should be age appropriate and contextual. 33 ପିଲାମାନେ कौन देची now which is the highest form of internal stakeholders participations in school based management SBM कौन हबो ना students exercise the rights and fulfills the responsibility. What is the prime objective of school development plan कौन to create a healthy organizational climate in school. On what approach is critical pedagogy based on कौन ना problem solving approach. NEP 2020 recommends 10 days period as bagless day for students of which class 6 to 8. Okay. Which of the following is not an example of intrinsic motivation? Writing homework for praise from the teacher because it is external hijibo. Which of the following method is most associated with teacher centric learning? कोटा अपन को lecture method. Okay. By using vocabularies and concept given by teacher, a student writes a poem on his or her own. Which of the following cognitive area is achieved as per the Bloom's revised taxonomy? Creating. Okay. Who believed that action and direct observation were the best ways to educate a child? John Dewey. Heredity influences development because it provides the biological blueprint. The child first learns to control the head before the legs. Cephalocaudal principle. 134. Which of the following is also known as curricular validity, content validity? 135. The assessment that is typically done before teaching to determine a student's prior knowledge is called placement assessment. Okay. 133. What is the full form of PARAKH described in NEP 2020? कौन हबो ना performance assessment, review and analysis of knowledge for holistic development. Okay. 136 पिला मने. Which of the following is not a typical objective of continuous and comprehensive evaluation? कौन ना evaluating academic memorizations of the learners. 137. The innate language theory by Noam Chomsky was devised on a language acquisition device and universal grammar. In Erickson's stages of psychosocial development, what is the primary psychosocial conflict during adolescence? Adolescence में जानचो identity versus role confusion. 141 देखो. Arranging items from easy to difficult is done to follow which pattern? Which principle? Proper. To पिला मने. Which of the following is not a recognition type test? Sentence comprehension test. तापर देखो 143. The smart board is the best example of interactive digital TLM. When adapting curricular for dyscalculia, a teacher should use manipulative like blocks, counters and abacus. Okay. Cooperative play is typically seen during which stage? Early childhood. Which of the following steps should be taken by the teacher for behavioral changes of an adolescent? Communicative privately and empathetically. 145. Cyberbullying among adolescents can be reduced by teaching digital citizenship and online safety. Okay. Who defined intelligence as the aggregate or global capacity of the individual to act purposefully, to think rationally and deal effectively within the environment? कि कहथिले ना डेविड कहथिले आपनकर. तापर देखो the core component of school board management involves कौन ना empowering internal stakeholders. A good teacher is one who encourage curiosity, critical thinking and active learning. Okay. 147. In 5E instructional model, explain implies कौन ना providing opportunity for students to articulate their understanding. 150. Last, school based management SBM is primarily based on which management principle? ना participatory governance. So पिला मने एटा थिला आजर वीडियो जोटा हमें डिस्कस करलु मेनली फॉर आपनकर कंपलसरी तो हमें करलु जोटा कि बोथ आर्ट्स एंड साइंस को पई अछि ओडिया इंग्लिश एंड सीडीपी एंड बाकी हमें आर्ट्स पिला को पई एटा डिस्कस करिछु. सो एटा होछ आपनका अनऑफिशियल आंसर की एंड आई होप आपण मन को वीडियो बहुत भल लागि थबा एंड जति भल लागि तो लाइक शेयर एंड सब्सक्राइब को भूलिबे नै एंड प्लीज मते कमेंट सेक्शन में जणांतु आपण मन को केते मार्क रहिला आउट ऑफ 150 एंड बस मते कमेंट सेक्शन जणांतु एंड आई विल डेफिनेटली रिप्लाई टू ऑल योर कमेंट्स. ओके. थैंक यू फॉर वाचिंग पिला माने बाय बाय एंड ऑल्सो लेट मी नो आपण मानक भितर क्यों माने सीटीएटी पाई प्रिपेयर होचंती सो जदि मेजॉरिटी सीटीएटी पाई प्रिपेयर होतबे सो आई विल ट्राई टू कम अप विथ न्यू वीडियोस ऑफ सीटीएटी ओके बाय बाय थैंक यू फॉर वाचिंग